Welcome back to the Sloppy Road to Halloween, the season where we break down 10 iconic horror flicks to lead you right to October 31st. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about something. There's a wide array of reasons why people enjoy scary movies, but one of the major components I find is generally left out of the conversation. They make you feel smart. It's just something about watching others struggle to work their way out of a wet paper bag that makes an audience member feel better about themselves. You may hate your job, you may have crippling debt, you may have made children with people you can't stand, but hey, you can take comfort in the fact that at least you didn't walk into Leatherface's house screaming your boyfriend's name. You see what I mean, folks? It strokes your ego. But it also forces you to ask yourself, what would you do in that situation? I find that the movie we are discussing today forces one to ask that question better than any. That movie is David Guy Levy's 2012 horror thriller, Would You Rather? If you haven't seen this one, I am so excited to be the one to pop your cherry on it. This flick is tense and cerebral and still finds ways to make you laugh. We aren't gonna stick our toes in on this one, we're gonna jump right in. So without any further introduction, here is our take on Would You Rather? Boom chicka boom boom. Hello boys and girls, welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey, and I will be your scary movie companion until the end of your life. And you know, maybe I die before you, but I'll haunt you, and I will be here forever. And sitting across from me is the best producer in the whole wide world. The reason why everything looks and sounds so great, Mr. Ozark Mark. Mark, how we feeling down here this evening?
Oh my goodness. Hello. Welcome back to the show. I only got to explain it to you, okay? You know what the fuck it is. And we are on the sloppy road to Halloween, and we're making another stop. We are making another stop, so get your butt cheeks ready, spread them out, do a couple squats, spread it out, because you're about to get some hardcore entertainment right up in your ass, because that's what we do. And we are back here with another fun time movie here. This is a good one. I like this movie. It's called, we're talking about Would You Rather?
Oh, I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather?
You gotta say it like old Greg. Would you rather?
Oh, would you rather?
Would you rather?
Mark, the age-old question, or like the premise of all great horror movies is when you're watching them at home or in the theaters, you ask yourself, what would you do? What would you do? And this whole film is kind of around that premise of what would you rather do to escape death. Was this the first time you saw this, Mark?
Yeah, I knew about this movie, and the reason why I knew about it prior is because, obviously, if you've ever watched Trailer Park Boys, Ricky is in the movie. Now, when I don't know his real name.
Rob Wells.
Well, Rob Wells, it doesn't matter. To me, he's Ricky because he plays Ricky exactly in this.
He does.
He does. So if you're a Trailer Park Boys fan, you're a fan of Ricky, you're going to like this a lot. And he cracked me up through the whole movie. But I was wondering, I was like, he acts and talks just like Ricky and everything. And I remember seeing a clip of behind the scenes of Trailer Park Boys, and they were talking about how most of the people there didn't have acting experience. I'm sure he was one of them. So it makes sense to me why he just knows how to be Ricky. I don't think he's an actor. I just think he just does Ricky and then gets away with it. He's like one of those actors. He's like Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson. They all played the same person.
Yep.
But it's still enjoyable. Still very enjoyable.
Yeah, he killed it. He crushed it. It was a lot of fun. He was a funny character in this. I knew that would be a nice little treat to add into the movie. Honestly, there's a lot of big actors in this movie. And when I say like big, I'll say like just actors you've seen a million times. First off, the guy that sets this whole thing up, Shep Lambrick, the guy like the bad guy that runs the whole thing, that's Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator, like a horror classic movie. So, all right, so we're already starting with some horror alum. The main actress is Brittany Snow. She was in the new Prom Night movie. She's been in a couple other things.
Smoke Show.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. John Hurd, obviously, rest in peace, the dad from Home Alone. Played in lots of things. He was like the cop in The Sopranos. He played in so many great movies. Rest in peace. Loved him. Eddie Steeples, he's the guy from like My Name is Earl. Love that guy. He's a lot of fun. Obviously, Rob Wells, as we had mentioned. You had Lawrence Gillard Jr. He's the guy who plays the kicker in Waterboy. He's also Bob in, Walking Dead. I mean, there's just people throughout this whole flick where you're like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I've seen him before.
It's a lot of like, I know that guy type of people.
Yeah, and I sometimes rarely a movie will manage to pick enough of them where it like intrigues you, where you're like, ooh, who the fuck? Oh, I know him. I like that guy. I like him. Because like you said, Ricky's not some like, ooh, this is going to be some crazy well-acted movie. But you're like, no, I really like him. Like, I want to see what this is all about. I kind of enjoyed the ensemble of cast members on this. Not all A-plus people, but they all did gel well, if I will say that. I will also say, I've heard people say this movie isn't a horror movie all the way, and I kind of am like a little intrigued by that, because I would say this movie is a horror movie because you're tricked and you're kind of put in a situation where people are dying and you can't leave. So that's kind of scary. I don't know where else to put this.
I don't know. It might go in the category of thriller. Kind of. I don't know. It seems like a horror movie to me.
There's just too much brutality for me to like that.
Well, when you think of horror, nowadays you think of scary entities, you think of masked killers, you think of like creepy jump scares and all that. But this is a very scary situation. And like you said before, one of the best fun things about a horror movie is watching it and talking about what would you do in that situation. That this whole movie is based upon that.
Yeah,
the entire
dude.
movie from start to finish.
This guy that played the guy Shep's son, the dude Julian.
Yeah, he was in the Batman series.
Yeah, Gotham. He was the Penguin guy. Yeah.
He fit that. He's just that character.
He's really good, man.
He is.
Once again, one of those people where you're like, oh, I know that dude.
Yeah, he's a great heel actor, and he fits it very well.
You pull the Spicoli right away, like, I know that dude. Like, that's what this movie does to me. Yeah, it did work out. And I guess I can give the folks a bit of a synopsis.
Yeah.
Synopsisaurus.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Snapple sauce.
Give me the Christian Ramey VHS read.
So
give me the fireside chat.
So we got this girl. Her name is Iris. So Iris is a girl, a young woman, maybe 20 or like late 20s, early 30s, and she is taking care of her brother, who is like late teens, early 20s. And this young man is sick, like terminally sick. He's got some issues, okay? So she is his caregiver, and she is trying to help him out. And they're tight on cash. And obviously, in this country, it's tight to, if a big expense comes to take care of something big, it's hard as far as health-wise. So they're tight on money, tight on times. Well, after an appointment, she like meets up with these people. It's like somebody that works for the hospital and a few of these other people, and they're like, look, we see the situation that you're in, and we'd like to give you an opportunity. You can come to a dinner at my house, and there's like a game that we play, and we have a game, and the winner of the game gets pretty much infinite cash and all their problems taken care of. It's a bunch of people just like you. It's almost like a benefit event. And she's like, well, what happens if I don't win? She's like, well, if you don't win, you just don't win. Well, when she shows up there, she realizes, there's a few other people there, but right away they start to realize that they can't leave. And one guy tries to, the Home Alone dad, after, maybe an hour, he tries to leave and they shoot him in the head. So it sets the tone really quick. Everybody's trapped. And this game, what's going on is they ask, it turns down to a game of would you rather. And what they do is they ask each member of the table questions. And some of these questions are pretty intense. They start off kind of mild. They have this like zapper headset, like it almost like electrocutes people. Not to death, but like it looks a little bit more than a little touch. It looks pretty painful. But they give you the remote, and they say, would you rather shock yourself? They put one on you and someone else. And they say, would you rather shock someone else or would you rather shock yourself? It's kind of a social experiment. It goes around the table. And then it starts turning into like, would you rather, smack this person with a whip or stab this person in the leg? And like, it gets more wild, and it turns into some crazy shit. And you really do ask yourself, what would you do in this situation? Because you're kind of trapped, and there's many different problematic things that come your way. So it is kind of interesting to think how somebody would deal with this. But I feel like I'd be smart enough not to fall into this situation in the first place. Like, I'm not giving anybody my phone or my keys, or like, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing any of that. Nope. I don't care what this is.
Depends on your situation.
I'm not doing any of this. I'm out of here.
Just depends on the situation. Especially if you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing you got to remember about it.
There's money involved.
Oh yeah. When you're at the table and they offer the Home Alone dad $50,000 just to drink a wine.
Yeah.
Offered Iris $10,000 just to eat steak when she's a vegetarian. You're like, they're throwing on that kind of cash. Maybe it's some stuff like that.
Well, it was $10,000 for the glass of wine, but $50,000 to drink like the whole,
Oh yeah.
The whole little thing of fucking. Was it bourbon or something?
Probably whiskey or something.
It was scotch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the whole canter of scotch.
Yeah.
And then he did end up doing it. He got pretty fucked up.
Yep. Well, you would if you drank a whole bottle of scotch.
My face
in like
is
10 seconds.
My face is red, Mark.
So?
Is it supposed to be red?
Yes.
All right. Well, I feel like, like a villain. Well, that's all right. Well, I'll be a villain this episode. Villainous.
Okay.
Well, you should do blue. We need contrast.
I'll fucking fix it in post.
You know what you could do?
What?
For Halloween? Dress up like Scorpion.
I could.
I'm thinking about throwing a Halloween bash.
Ooh.
Halloween bash.
You got to send out creepy invites like you did that one year where you thought it sounded like an orgy.
Yeah, it sounded like a sex party.
Yeah.
And people were like, what does this mean?
Sexy time starts after 10. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know what that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But continue with the synopsis, please.
Well, it breaks down, and all these people end up dying in this situation, and we're left with the final girl, which is Iris. And it's kind of fucked because at the end of the movie, she realizes that her brother ends up like ODing on pills when she gets back home. So she goes through all this and gets all this money.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming though.
Mm-hmm. It was sad.
Yeah.
It was sad.
It was a sad ending.
Do you think she hit him up afterwards? Like, look, since you guys like aren't paying for surgery, like I need a little bit of that cash that you guys were gonna allocate towards surgery.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean they'd have to come off, something.
Yeah.
Or
just ask for another favor. I don't know.
It's like at the end of Hostel 2, where they give her a tattoo and she buys her way out. Like you're like, look, I'm part of the crew now.
Sure, they'll pay for the funeral or something.
I'm a part of the thing now. Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that shit's expensive.
Yeah, that's true. That's crazy, man. It's not necessarily upbeat, but it is a intense, suspenseful movie. Because there are great movies that are just that whole premise. I love Adam Green's Frozen, where the people get trapped on top of the ski lift. That recent one, what the hell was that one? What was it called? Fall or something? What the hell was it called? These people get trapped on top of the tower.
I saw clips of that. No, I don't remember what it's called.
I think it might be called Fall or something. I don't know what it was, but that's good too, because you just ask yourself, like, all right, if I just happen to be in this situation, how the hell am I going to get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
Because some horror flicks are able to like take you on a journey where you're like, okay, well, this dream demon man is chasing me and killing me, or this masked man. And like, you got to take a little bit of a journey, if you will. You've got to accept a truth that isn't necessarily the truth. If you're trapped on top of a fucking ski lift, that could happen. Like, what the hell's going to go on? And these people, if you get invited to a dinner, a lot of people are not rich. So if somebody's like, look, I can make all your dreams come true, just come play this game at dinner, I think it could be easy to trap people in. I mean, even if you're suspicious, but I might have came strapped for real.
Okay. Except the fact that they make you empty your pockets and everything before you get in there.
Yeah, but I would.
And then everybody else around you is strapped, so that wouldn't work. They tried to escape in it, and a couple people ended up getting shot.
What if multiple people concealed? You got it tucked somewhere,
Well, yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying, but you'd have a chance.
I'm just saying. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But
there's a chance you and me, and we can make it out of here together as a family.
Do you have a favorite part of the movie?
Yeah, I do. It's when we're just gonna call him Ricky. When Ricky kills the old lady, when he stabs her in the thigh, he's like, "Oh fuck! I think I hit that artery thing you guys were talking about."
Well, he just becomes Ricky. Like when you start giving him lines, he becomes Ricky, and I just picture Ricky in there.
He said, well, first off, he convinced her because he had to either like. This one guy was talking shit. This like military vet guy was talking shit to the guy who played the Penguin in Gotham, and like the little spoiled dude, Julian. And he's like, all right, well, you're going to regret that. So like the choice for everybody at the table was stab the person next to you in the leg or hit this dude in the back with this like African whip. So like the dude ended up eating, and everybody's choice was that stab the person next to you or whip the same dude. So dude ended up eating all these whips because he was like a humble dude, and he's like, look, just whip me, don't stab nobody. Mm-hmm. But it got to a point where it was like no good anymore. This dude was in bad fucking shape. Like he was like on the brink of death. And Ricky looks to the old lady like, look, you're paralyzed. Like you don't even feel your legs. Like, you won't even feel it. And he's like, I promise you'll be okay. And he's like, if we hit him again, he's gonna die, and we don't want that, do we? Like, so he like talks her into it, and he just stabs her, and immediately you could tell he hit the femoral artery. It's just like, oh no! And then he's like tourniqueting it, and he's like, do you do it above it or below it? And the guy's like, above it. And he's like, okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, guys. Fuck, boys. Smokes.
I was just waiting for him to say that,
dude. And then. His death is pretty funny too because
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, give us that.
So the next round, after the stabbing and the whipping, they try to escape, and then a couple other people get murked out, but they go back in there. So the next round is they bring out this big barrel full of water, and then they bring cards. Each get a card in front of them. Now it's like, okay, well the card holds a punishment. Some are relatively harmless, some are pretty intense. He pulls that, but you figure they're all going to be intense. So it's either get your face held underwater for 2 minutes or pick what's in front of your card. Now, I thought about this. The first time I thought about it, I was like, I don't think I can hold my breath for 2 minutes.
You could.
I don't know. 2 minutes is a long time. And nobody else thought they could either, except for Iris. But Ricky there, he's going first. So then he talks about how he's got a gambling problem, whatever. He's like, sorry, I'm going to pick the card. So he picks the card, and it's a picture of a firecracker. And he has to hold a firecracker and let a firecracker explode in his hand. Cool. Well, of course, they come out and they give him like an M80, like a quarter of a dynamite stick. He's like, what the fuck is this? It's like a quarter stick. So he just gets Rickied out. He's like, what if this is a fucking dud, huh? He's like, do I have to light another one? Which I don't know why he said that, but he thought it was a dud, so they duct tape it into his hand. And he lights it, and then it ends up exploding in his hand, and he starts like looking and shaking, and then just falls to the ground and like has a heart attack and dies.
It was pretty funny.
Which sucks, but I don't think I would have a heart attack if that went off in my hand.
The world record for holding your breath is over 24 minutes.
Is it really?
Yeah, now granted, we have been smokers and things of that nature, but I think a lot of it would come down to like, you'd have to get some breathing patterns beforehand, like knowing before it was your turn, and you'd have to get some breaths, but then like you just have to go, like you might die. I'm not saying you couldn't, I'm just saying you'd have to go Zen mode because like you couldn't be like panicking.
Right.
Like you'd have to just be like, all right, and then just like, think about whatever the fuck.
Yeah, when the first scene came up, I thought I was going to pick the card. If I was go first, I probably would have picked the card. Take my chances on that. But after seeing, if I was like third, I'd be like, no, I'm going to try the water.
Because even if you die that way, it's just like, well.
Right. It sucks for the last girl because she got a card with a barrel and it said 4. So she had to hold it for 4 minutes.
And she had die.
She didn't make it like 15 seconds.
One dude had to put a razor in his eye.
That was intense. Ugh.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Iris got lucky. She didn't pick the card. Her card was she had to get all of her teeth pulled out.
I like how that guy said, "Oh, you lucked out with that one."
That guy
Teeth
was
extraction.
good. He was a good bad guy.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs, man, the Reanimator guy. He's, classic legend guy. Mm-hmm. And he was true evil. When these people would get hurt or do things, stab other people, or like he would, like he would just laugh, and it made it evil.
He was cracking me up in the beginning of the movie when he was in the doctor's office and he first met Iris explaining the game. He's just casually sitting on the couch just eating pistachios and just throw them next to him on the couch.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Who does that?
I don't know, but that irritated the shit out of me. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Don't do that, dude.
Don't litter on my couch.
Like shells from nuts, dude. Put them in a table or a bowl or a cup or a something.
That's that dad shit coming out.
I know, dude.
Most people don't do it.
Oh, what? What's the problem?
It's that inner dad anger that we all have.
What's the fucking problem? I'll pay for the nuts, pay for the goddamn couch. Well, you got a fucking problem? Get your own fucking couch. You're like, all right, Dad, Jesus.
If it was in the first round and you were next to a woman, would you shock yourself or would you shock the woman?
I'd shock myself.
Yeah, I probably would. I'd probably shock myself.
Yeah, I'd eat some shocks. Mm-hmm. I'd eat some shocks. That one girl was kind of evil.
Yeah.
Amy or whatever the hell her name was. She's kind of hot, man.
Yeah.
That's like the kind of girl to ruin your life.
Oh, yeah. Probably gives a wicked BJ, though.
Oh yeah. Steal your soul.
All the way down to the tonsils, baby.
Well, she would steal your soul,
Well, she was the right idea, though. She was like, you know what, fuck this. Like, we're not friends. Like, trying to take you all out. So, but she ended up getting fucked in the end. Karma's a bitch, ain't it?
Yeah, nobody liked her, so it's just like,
I like how, so the final round, it's between Iris and some dude. And he's trying to be like the hero throughout the whole thing. Guy who got his eye cut, So they flip a coin.
Simpy boy.
Yeah, they flip a coin and it's heads or tails. So Iris gets the advantage. So she gets to choose. She's like, all right, you guys can both walk away right now alive, no money. Or you got one shot in this old fucking pirate gun, whatever the hell it was.
Dueling pistol.
Yeah, dueling pistol. One shot and you have to kill him. So he's like, listen, I know you got a lot of problems, like trying to convince his case. She's like, fuck this guy. Pops him.
Shot his ass, boy.
Dude, at that point, you know what? Random person, I'm killing you.
Yeah.
We've already made it this far. I'm sorry.
You've already lost an eye, dog.
If I was on the other end, I'm like, I don't care who it is. Like, they're going to shoot me. Mm-hmm. Like, you're fucked. You're fucked. You fucked right up in the ass.
Yep, fun little premise, though. Fun little premise.
Would you rather... That's a fun game to play in anything.
It's like...
You can get into a would you rather conversation with anybody on this planet.
Oh, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Would you rather be eaten to death by sharks or bears?
I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah, you're dying either way.
I know. I think the sharks would be better because I'd be underwater and I'd probably suffocate before they eat me.
Yeah, you wouldn't really see what's happening very much.
You just wait to die from suffocation and pain.
The bears, you would know.
I would not. Yeah, you'd see the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Okay. Would you rather beat off with your mom in the room, or would you rather have sex with a girl while holding my hand?
I'd rather have sex with a girl while holding your hand, dude. Beating off with my mom in the room, you fucking weirdo.
I mean, these are,
These are legit questions here.
Yeah. Somebody's going to be like, well, me and my moms are kind of close. What?
No.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Would you rather not have Wi-Fi for a year? Or would you rather have to take public transportation for a year?
Rather not have Wi-Fi for a year.
Okay.
Fuck public transportation. That sucks. I lived without Wi-Fi before. I am an age where Wi-Fi didn't exist in my early ages. Okay, I've been through that noise. It ain't that bad.
Okay.
It ain't that bad.
We'll take it back to the teenage years.
Okay.
Would you rather have being on a bike, have a full backspin, and have a pedal, one of those spiky pedals, crack you in the fucking shin?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you rather bail out on a skateboard, grinding down a rail?
I've been through both.
I know. I did more on the bike. I mean, I could skateboard, but I could never do anything honest. But I could ride one for sure.
Yeah, I've done handrails a couple times. Nothing big, but
you don't give yourself as much credit. You could do tricks back in the day.
probably I would rather do I'd rather take the pedal to the shin because I've done that so many times. It hurts for a second. I think I got scars from that, honestly. But
for sure,
the metal one, the plastic ones weren't as bad, but the metal ones, oh my god.
There's guys of our generation that have scars on their shin from those damn things.
Oh my god, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, we used to eat shit. Like some of the stuff you do skateboarding or biking, like you just roll with it, continue your day. Like if I fall down three of my stairs, like I'm walking down and towards the end I'm like, ooh, like I'll twist something in my body where like the next week I'll be like, oh yeah, I just
yeah,
my back.
Skateboarding's scary to me now if I fall. I haven't done it in a while, but I mean I used to go down like sets of 12 stairs and shit.
Yeah, man.
But you were resilient at that age. You didn't care.
I saw this funny, like it was a video on the internet where it was like a mime, and somebody took a Razor scooter and they like fucking flipped it around so it like 360'd and cracked him in the shin, and he like couldn't make a noise. It was like on the inside of his ankle too, and he was just like. It's a really funny video. It's hard I hope I described it well enough, but he's a mime so he can't talk. But
yeah,
those things were death traps too, man. I never got into the scooters. I was more of the bikes.
I had scooter for a little bit just because it was a thing, but nah, I was skateboard and bike.
It's weird to me that this movie Would You Rather is 2012. It feels more recent, man, but it's over 10 years old, dude. That's strange.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
It's strange to me.
I'm surprised it's not more major than what it is. It's
Yeah.
a good movie. It really is.
Our buddy Joe, I went over his house one time, and this is back when he had his apartment, So, like, I went over there, and we were just hanging out, just chilling, smoking, watching TV, and, like, he was flipping, finding something to watch, and he's like, you like horror? This is horror. What's this? And I was like, I don't know. And, like, I had no idea. And we watched it, and we got super sucked into it, and it was one of those, like, oh, it was fun. I love to watch movies by myself. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like one of my peak things in life. Because I get really sucked into it. I'm a talker. I can get ADHD with the person in the room.
You don't talk that much.
Right. But sometimes there are movies that are fun. It's almost like an event to watch with somebody. And like that's what I felt this one was like. It was like a holy shit. Like, fuck, dude. I thought even John Hurt's death, the Home Alone dad's death, was so abrupt. Like the first time you see it, I mean, obviously it's the first time too. Like, some shit's gonna happen, and like they're probably gonna take him away. But it was like it was an on-screen gunshot. Like it wasn't like they dragged him out of the room and they really built the tension. He just kind of got up like, "Fuck this! I'm drunk. I'm getting out," and it was just pop. And just blew his head off.
I love
dude.
those because they're all like, what the fuck? Because every time, usually in a movie, when you're getting up to someone's death, there's a small buildup. There's some intensity before it. Mm-hmm. So I just love those abrupts. Just pow.
Yeah.
You're dead.
It set the tone. It sets the tone. I mean, it had like the whole like Dutch filter too. They were like on an angle. Like it hit quickly. And then you're like, well, hell, these guys are kind of trapped now. Like, even the smartest of the bunch are, like, the people who are like, oh, I would never. Well, if you were, now what are you going to do? All these dudes are strapped up. And apparently a couple of them worked in some, like, British military crazy Secret Service shit. Like, these guys know what they're doing with torture.
Mm-hmm. You got, like, one lucky shot, and you probably ain't going to hit it. So,
I would say, though, the military vet guy went out like a beast.
Yeah, he did.
Like he went out he went out with honor, and he was like, all right, well, fuck you guys. This is how it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we don't even know if he died.
Yeah, they did. They say he's dead.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Death by an African stick. That'd suck.
Yeah, dude.
That would suck.
Yep, that's no joke. Apparently that girl that played Amy, the mean one, she was a adult film star.
Oh, yeah?
I was not aware of that until I just sat down.
What's her name?
Well, yeah, we're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, just for, educational purposes.
Sure. I mean, who am I not to be an educational man?
Exactly.
I mean, I've always wanted to educate the people.
What's her rank on Pornhub?
I don't know. Sasha Grey is her
Ooh,
name.
Sasha Grey.
But it says former. She says former.
Oh, she probably does OnlyFans now.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows?
It's what they do. These broads, they show their coochoo on the YouTube or whatever, and they get paid.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not a girl, because I would have no pride. I would go for baseball players. I would not if you just
Why
switched...
can't I go on the internet and play with myself and get a bunch of money? It's stupid.
Yeah, it
Sucks being a dude.
You probably could. You would just have to lean into both genders.
Well, that don't matter.
Yeah, I don't care who's watching it.
If I can make $100,000 a year whacking it on the fucking webcam, I don't
I'm
care
here to
if
tell
dudes
you,
are
you
watching.
probably could. You're not a super, hideous guy. You probably could make some
I
money.
put an ice pack on my balls.
You could make some money.
Swell it up. Nobody likes a dripping sack.
Every once in a while, the gays, send you all kinds of messages. You just send them like a winky emoji, and then, a year subscription.
When a gay dude gives you a compliment, you feel a little good, like, I'm sexy to both genders.
Yeah. But you, feel bad because you're like, well, I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not here to play with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We can watch the game, though.
Just 5 feet, we're good.
I'll be a wingman. I'll help you, bro. I've never helped you, been on the other end, but I'm sure it works the same.
Well, this is good stuff here, but we got to take a little time out here and bring the guys in to figure out what do you know here. Whoa, welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. I'm here with Chrissy Pay Me and Marky Bananas, if you don't know who we are. Now, we're here to tell you facts. Now, you may know what we know, you may not know what we know, but if you know what we know, you're gonna have a we-know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, and then you're gonna leak out your nipples with a we-know-gasm, too. Everybody gets wet and slippery here on the What Do You Know here, so why don't you tell me something you may or may not know about this movie, would you rather?
Look, you know what I like? Subtlety, okay? I like subtlety, okay?
Uh-huh.
I like when something takes a little bit of work to recognize, okay? Like, let's just say you went to a party and somebody had a tie on that was the shining rug pattern, okay? Not everybody's gonna recognize that. Not everybody's gonna know that, but you're gonna know that, because you know that movie.
Sure.
And it's a subtle little. I like when people have some subtle nods, and in movies they can do that. Be it little posters or things in the background or music, okay? And in this particular movie, when she goes into the dinner scene, okay? When she goes there, meets all the other people, there's some music playing. And just like The Shining, it's playing Midnight and the Stars and You.
Is it really?
Yes, that old school creepy song.
Oh, wow.
It's in the background, and I can recognize it immediately because it's when it zooms out and it shows the picture of Jack Nicholson in the picture.
Right.
At the end.
Yeah.
That song.
It plays that song.
Yeah.
That's cool. I did not notice that. That's a good fact.
Now let me ask you something. Do you know any facts about this movie here?
I'm supposed to. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So, all right. So there's a round where they do the stabbing in that stick. It's called an African whipping stick. Right? Well, it's not actually, that's not the specific term for it, okay? It's called a samak.
I don't know how you pronounce that.
It's something with a silent J. I don't know. I think
Sambak or something?
I think it's sambak or samak or something. And it's made from rhino hide. And
Holy shit.
It was used for herding, like animals. So that fucking hurts.
Yeah, that's
That
not good.
fucking hurts. That's a solid piece of stick.
A fucking
Okay.
rhino?
Yeah.
A rhino.
Yeah.
That's a big animal.
That's way stiffer than any boner you've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it hurts. That's not cartilage, ladies and gentlemen. That's rhino hide all up in your shit.
That's rhino hide, baby.
It's gonna use a bra. Wow, that's a hard stick.
Wow, that's a lot of rhino hide. Do you think you would have fucked the guy up? You know what I would have did?
What?
When it came down to Jeeves or whatever the fuck, the Butler's guy, when it was the Butler's guy.
He looks like Ass Jeeves.
Yeah,
Whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know. Google bought him.
No, I think Google murdered him because he knew everything. He used to Ask Jeeves and he'd be there for you.
Now he's
I
gone.
think Google put a hit out of him.
They could have.
Fucking Google.
When that guy, if I was the guy about to be whipped, okay, and it was Jeeves's turn, I would just look to him and I would say, "Do you remember my safe word?" And just add some fun to the situation. Ask him if he remembers your safe word,
Right.
and maybe.
So let's not forget the fact that you're in excruciating pain and you're about to die, but you would do that.
Oh, I would.
I don't believe
they
you.
They can't have my fear.
I don't believe you.
You gotta go out like fuck you.
Yeah,
It's, if you know you're dying.
Sure.
Like if there's I got a chance, there's a chance.
Stop saying. I never should have reminded you of that.
Then maybe you could fight your way out. But if you know and you've already been hit like 9 times and you've got all the endorphins, you could just say, "I said my safe word, Jeevesy," or something. I don't know. Make it fun.
Like, fuck you, Ass Jeeves.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Does your mother sew?
Boom.
Have a sew that then, you piece of shit.
Does your mother sew?
Wow. Well, that's some good facts there. I don't think anybody knew those. I didn't even know your fact, and I watched the fucking movie yesterday. So,
Thanks.
any other facts for you?
Nope, that's it.
No other facts for me. So we're gonna fax the fuck right out of here.
Okay, Mark.
Okay.
Okay, dude. Oh, man.
What?
First, seriously, totally. No, for real.
What?
At the beginning of the dinner, Mark, in
Yes.
this flick, the would you rathers were pretty mild. I mean, they were daring. And they were rude to be laughed at, but they were kind of now here's some situations for Ozark, Mark, that I've put together. Not cutting your eyeball or crazy, but when it was still mild before the dinner really started getting cooking. Because as you remember, he offered her 10 grand to eat a steak. And it was, she's a vegetarian, or 15 grand, something of that nature. 10 grand for a glass of wine for dude, 50 grand for the whole bottle, right? So here's some situations for Ozark, Mark. Okay. First and foremost, here you go, Mark. Here's 10 grand, but you can't watch a single Bengals game this season. But I have it here in crispy 100s. Not a single game.
I hate you.
You can't watch. You can't watch any of it. You can't watch any highlights. You could see the score. You could see who won. If they were in the Super Bowl, you can't watch it.
Oh.
You could go back afterwards and watch highlights after the season was over.
So I can't watch the highlight after. I can't watch the highlights after the game.
Directly after the end of the Super Bowl, you can go back and watch the season's highlights. Like I'm saying, the moment it ends.
10 grand, yeah, I would figure it out, dude. 10 grand. Come on, dude.
I thought your asking price would be higher for that.
Well, I would if I knew I would get it.
Okay, for that.
First,
okay.
I would say no, but then like they do, I'd say no at first. But then if he's like 50 grand, look, yep.
Okay, here's the next. I've got 50 grand on the table here. Okay, and on the table, which it's been tested, it's pure. There are pure lines, not pure, but good cocaine on the table. There are 3 lines. That's all you have to sniff for 50 grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never done coke before. Never done coke in my life. Never,
I know. I'm trying to
taken-
just think of the stances that you
never
would.
never take anything up my nose, but as long you can't overdose from 3 lines, right?
Yeah, no.
Then give me the fucking shit. That's 50 grand. We talk 50 grand.
Give me my money. I'm
That's
leaving.
the fucking car I need. Yeah, I'm doing that shit.
Okay.
I'm doing that shit. Let me ask you. I have 10 grand on the table. Okay? You can't smoke weed for an entire year.
No. No, I'm not doing that. Not for 10.
Not for 10. Okay. I have 50 grand on the table. 50 grand. Crisp $100 bills. You can know there's something different. You can't watch a single horror movie all year.
I feel like both of those asking prices would need to be really, really high because, like,
Well, you could read horror books all you want.
okay.
You just can't watch a horror movie. And as many of the horror movies you've seen, you could probably replay them in your entire mind if you really wanted
For
to
a
watch
year?
a movie.
Yeah, I
it's
could
just
do
a
that.
year.
I could do that. The weed would be tougher. Like, I could do it mentally, but I would just be so rude. Like, not rude, but just not me. Like, I feel like I'm a bubbly individual, and I'm, like, nice sometimes, and I just would not. I would just be like, sup? Just very stern all the time, and, like, I don't know. I got too many kids in here. It keeps me at bay. But horror would be hard, too. No, basketball would be hard. Man, these are tough. But 50 grand is a
Okay, 10. All right, 10 grand. You can't watch a single Michigan game all season. Same thing like me for the Bengals. Same ordeal.
I would try for 50, but I would take it. I would take the 10, but I would try for 50 on that one.
Yeah.
I would really like if it was all right there, but under the premise of like, hey, if you could be alerted that they are in the Super Bowl or they are in the championship, and then like you can figure out if they won or lost, and then like the moment the season's over, you can go back and watch like highlights.
You know what? I would just listen to the game on the radio. That's not watching it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can listen if you could listen, bro. Oh yeah.
That's
10's
not watching.
10 for sure.
I listen. Sometimes I like the Dan Hoare and Dave Lava for the Bengals. I wish
Yeah.
I could swap them to the TV, but I can't. But I've listened to them multiple times. There's times where I've been in situations where I can't watch the game, like working or
Sure.
something, but I'll put headphones in and I'll listen to them.
I've
yeah.
listened to NBA Finals games on the radio, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, you could totally see because somebody's like, oh, how could you listen to a game on the radio? Go in a situation where you can't watch it, and that's your only option. You're like, bro, play for play. You're like,
yeah.
all right, like,
Yeah.
you get
Because
it.
you just envision it in your lane. It's like reading a book. It's fine. Same premise.
But
but you've seen so many games, like you could say, all right, there's a 10-yard pass, and he's got it. And then you just vision it. You're like, yeah. I care about it anyway.
Babe Ruth up to the plate. Crosses his bat across the plate. He looks across the field.
Exactly.
He reaches out, one over the third baseline. It skips in there. You're like, you know exactly what's happening. I miss that old-timey fucking radio, like the old-time announcer voice, too. Mm-hmm. Great day for baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would fucking... To be a kid in the 50s, bro, with comic books and baseball, and, like, that would be so goddamn cool. I mean, we had a cool time frame, too. I'm just saying that would have been pretty sick to have the 50s. Baseball players were larger than life.
Would you rather only be able to watch the Three Stooges for the rest of your life, or only be able to watch the Monsters for the rest of your life?
The Munsters. Even though there's only... Well, I don't know how many Three Stooges episodes. I think the Munsters, there's 72 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in that neck of the woods. I want to double check myself. How many Munsters episodes were there? That's a good question.
Thank you. That's what we're here for.
70. I was really fucking close, dude.
That was pretty close, but you win over. So you did not
Damn
win.
it.
You did not win the Price is Right.
Rest in peace, Bob
Which that
Barker.
ultimately answered our question. Because I remember a while ago, you asked me if Bob Barker was still alive like a year ago. I was like, I don't know. But now we know.
Rest in peace.
Yep.
Rip your dog's balls off. Tie them tubes.
Don't forget to have your pet spayed or neutered, baby.
Everybody liked The Price is Right. That's also a would you rather kind of deal.
Oh,
it would
man.
put you in situations all the time. You'd have to pick, which card you wanted to go behind. I mean, you wouldn't die. You would just either not win a car.
Would you rather be on The Price is Right, or would you rather be on Family Feud?
Price is Right or Family Feud. I feel like I'd have a better shot at winning at Family Feud. I'm good at that. You remember the 90s TV shows, like when we were kids, like Global Guts and Legend of the Hidden Temple, with like the purple monkeys and the silver barracudas and like whatever the fuck the name. Those games were so much fun. I wanted to be on those so bad when I was little. Like I
Yeah.
thought realistically we could. Then they had the game Would You Rather, or no, what would you do? That was good. Had like the 3 doors. Had Mark Summers from Double Dare.
Yep.
Man, we had a good childhood too.
Oh, yeah. Bozo the Clown.
Bozo was sick. I've seen some highlights on TikToks where the people went all the way with the cups, and I'm like, these kids are beasts because they're not. I mean, the straight line's the hardest thing in Pong.
I know. Oh, yeah. And it's funny because everybody always comments, they're like, and people wonder why our generation always plays beer pong.
Yeah, dude.
Bozo the Clown.
Yeah.
What a trip down memory lane that was. But now we got to do our diligence and go through another portal to another world to another realm and rate this movie.
Rate it.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Well, welcome back, you sexy son of a bitch. I hope your underwear is dry and you got a new one on because we're about to rate this bitch. Here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, the one-of-a-kind, one and only, your very scary movie companion, Mr. Christian Ramey, came up with this certified rating system for a horror movie, not a movie in general. How many times do I have to fucking tell you that? I'll do it one more time. Excuse me for my negligence.
One more time.
So we're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
Correct. So let's get into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
This one's tough. Because it's like in between. I don't want to say it's a 3, but it's like a 2 for sure. Like it's got some really good casting, people that you recognize, and they're all pretty. They do a really well job. It doesn't. This movie doesn't scream low budget. This movie doesn't scream bad acting. To me, it does not. Personally, so I feel like it's a 2 at least.
No, it's a solid 2.
Yeah, 2 for sure.
It's a solid 2. It's just shy of the big name actors, but they all fit.
They all gel together.
They all fit in there. Okay, you got some people that you recognize, so it's not completely down. But that's a perfect example of a 2. Perfect example of a 2. So it's 2 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here, the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Somebody been shot.
Multiple people shot.
Somebody been drowned.
Somebody got beat to death with a stick.
Somebody OD'd on medicines.
An old lady got stabbed in her artery thing.
I think I stabbed that artery you guys were talking about. I'm sorry.
Somebody blew up their hand and had a heart attack.
I think I stabbed that artery.
Another person shot in the head. There's quite an amount of kills. They're
also
all different. Most of them are different.
I feel like this is screaming a 2 as well.
I think it's a solid 2 too.
It's just, I mean, there's nothing that, like, none of the kills are, maybe the hand scene and the eye thing, but, like, nothing, like, is like a Terrifier saw a girl in half kind of thing. There's no, like, oh my God, there's no over the top. It's just some solid kills, enough to be a 2.
No, there's good variety. There's a good amount of them. They're on screen. Some of them are very significant to the movie, but they're not over the top in your face. Make you go, oh. Maybe the eye slit, but he didn't die. So that's a solid 2 there. So that's 4 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third, final 3-point category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
I need you. I need your love. I need you, because this is the hardest one here, because we're numb to a lot of things, okay? We're numb to a lot of things, but I feel like this is definitely a 1.5, if not higher, almost a 2, because this is somewhat realistic. I mean, not everybody would be in this dinner. Some people are too skeptical to go to a dinner like this, but a lot of people are poor or like in fucking financial need, especially the economy around the world. It's a recession, it's whatever, and somebody promises you to... I mean, it's not realistic that people are asking you to do that, but it's realistic that people would say yes. And the whole time, I would say the first time somebody watches this movie, they're thinking, how the hell do these people get out of here? And I will say, credit to a movie these days. It is really hard as a viewer to sit at home. Yeah, I have ADHD, but we all have a tad bit of ADHD. Advertisements, everything's been processed to be short. You know how hard it is to sit and watch a movie without picking up your phone or being distracted? And it's possible to do. But this is one of those movies that really has the ability to hook you kind of well, and you're zoned into it like, all right, what the hell is going on here? And not all movies have that.
Well, a movie does a good job when it can make you do that.
So I almost feel like it's a solid 2 as well, because it's like, it is freaky and it's enough to keep you involved in this whole movie, and it makes your mind spin. So it's not scare the shit out of you 3, where it's the most terrifying movie. I don't know, 1.5 or a 2 for you.
I think it's a 1.5.
Okay.
Strictly because this could possibly happen. Mm-hmm. If it hasn't happened already with the sick elites. You don't know that.
Some 31 shit.
It's a very realistic situation. Now, is it going to happen to everyday people? Absolutely not. It's probably not going to happen if it hasn't already. But it's a very realistic situation. Mm-hmm. Very realistic, and that's what generates fear for me, at least. And that's most people nowadays, if it's something that could actually fucking happen. But I don't think anybody's going to lose sleep over it. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody's going to go to bed losing sleep over Would You Rather or anything actually in it.
What would the cash amount be for you to be fully erect and mushroom stamp a mousetrap?
50.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to fall off.
No. It's cartilage anyway. As long as it's not the...
You just take it and run away?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to hurt, but it's your dick, whatever. Fuck it, it's not the balls. It's just a dick.
Oh, yeah, you can't go balls.
Sometimes you got to slap it around anyway. It's used to pain.
Oh, yeah.
It's used to pain and giving pain, if you know what I'm saying. So that is 1.5 for fair. So that is 5.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast ratings. Getting the final 1 point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. And that is rewatchability.
I'm going to say yeah. And as a matter of fact, with the rewatchability, not only that, I will add, this is a flick that I like to show to others. It's harder to get some people into like a crazy vampire story, the old slashers or whatever. But, that's why it's picked for the road to Halloween. You got a couple people at your house. Everybody wants to throw on something spooky. Not a lot of people talk about this movie. Kind of in the horror community they do, but not everyday folks. So this will be one where people will remember, and you'll be looked at like, man, you picked a good movie last Friday night. That one was good. Yeah. So I would say yes.
I would say yes as well. Especially showing it to somebody for the first time and seeing the reaction, because that was my first time watching it and I was sucked in.
I love showing it to somebody for the first time.
If this is your first time seeing this movie, you're going to like it, but it's cool to watch again. It's very easy to watch again. So that is a total of 6.5 out of 10 for Would You Rather here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, right back up in your ass.
Would you rather? I do like that. It is a lot of fun, though. It is a lot of fun. But honestly, it's the first time this season, but I think it's warranted that we need to hit the button for the segue.
I missed you, mister.
Mr. Rollsock. Tell him if they're old enough to watch that scary stuff. It's for the parents who give a...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ozark Marks Parental Guidance. If you're unfamiliar with this, I'll make it nice and simple. Lots of people ask us for horror movies they can watch with their kids. People like to watch scary movies, but some people have kids and it's hard to get free of them and they want to watch too. But we do our best on certain flicks to try to give you an age of what would be appropriate for the kid watching or for a kid to watch. And that way, if you're interested in knowing, you'll know. And Mark, he gives a pretty solid number usually. He usually gives a pretty modest number so that, he's not setting you up for failure. Now, Mr. Mark, you got a bunch of kids at your house and they want to watch a scary flick. What age do you have to be in the room where Would You Rather is playing?
Well, there's no sex.
No sex.
No nudity.
No tits.
So whenever there's no sex and no nudity, we can typically go very low.
I agree.
There was some violence, but no violence is too graphic. That these kids haven't already seen before and or in video games. So 12. I would go with 12.
I like that.
All right, they know what you rather the game is. They could have a little bit of fun with it. You go with 12, can't go wrong there. Nobody, I don't think a kid's really going to lose sleep over this unless they're very young. But of course, a kid that is very young will at least lose sleep over anything because they're undeveloped.
It's more of a stimulating kind of movie versus like I'm terrified for my own life, but it's more of like a, well, shit.
Oh yeah.
We've said it 100 times this episode. What would you do? But it's like that's very much where your brain's at in this flick. Like you just thinking. It's like one of those escape rooms or something. You're like, how the hell do I get out of here?
Right. So I think a 12-year-old will kind of understand the situation and figure it out. So
that's good.
There you go.
So what was it?
You know.
A 6.5 rating, 6.5 out of 10 for Would You Rather, and then 12 years old is the age that you should be okay to start letting a kid watch this flick. You should be fine, but the thing is, another reason why they're so fine, we're so fine, is that they've made it through this whole... You've made it. I mean, through this whole episode. How far are we? I mean, we're 50-something minutes in, I'm assuming. This whole way, and you haven't had to fast forward not one bit for any ad reads because we haven't read you anything about razors or stupid stuff, guys. The Sloppy Horror Podcast is self-funded, and we keep the lights on here through hard work, okay? And some of that hard work is we make bonus episodes on our Patreon. And if you're looking to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror. We have opened up a $1 tip jar as well on there. Now, that isn't something that has access to all of the episodes, but it is something that you can, if you just want to find a way to contribute $1 a month, we would love you forever. And all of that's getting racked up to the short movies that we are making as well. Obviously, if you're unfamiliar with that, I would recommend following our social platforms. You can kind of get some more info on that. And then also, if you want some merchandise, we're going into, fall season. People love hoodies. Why don't you get yourself a big Sloppy Horror hoodie, okay? You and your lady, or you and your mans, or, get one for your dog. I don't give a shit. There's all kinds of things you can do. Or another thing you can do for free if you're watching on YouTube or you're not. Just make sure you subscribe on YouTube. It's completely for free, and it helps us out so much. And you'll have access to all of these short movies that are coming out and all of our video content. And also, if you are an audio listener, please, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, these ratings mean more than you know, all right? I think we have maybe 20-something ratings, Mark, and we have hundreds of listeners that return week after week. So if you guys just leave a couple words, couple kind words, whatever you would like to do, it really does mean the world to us. So we thank you so much, and we're happy to have that ability to not go through our whole show reading and watering shit down. And some people are real dicks with their shows. I like podcasts, but it's like either put them in the beginning or in the middle or the end. Like, don't put them on all. Like, some are at the beginning, middle, and end. And that's too much. That's too much. And Mark and I we don't get down like that, homie. We don't water shit down, all right? We don't do it. No chaser over here. We just do it straight, okay? That's just how we do it. So what do you think, Mark? How you feeling? Are you getting excited for next week?
Hey, baby girl, I want to see your butthole. Oh, I'm feeling great. We are getting on this fucking road, and it's getting better each and every week. These stops are tremendous. I hope you're enjoying the ride like we're enjoying the ride. And if you're a little bit lonely, tell your fucking friend to listen to you, asshole.
That would be a big help.
Okay? Tired of this. I'm not fucking around anymore. Spread the love.
And
okay?
your cheeks.
Aim at different places.
And on your face.
Exactly. You know that mole there? Aim for it, all right? It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Give him a little tidbit for what we're doing next week, Mark.
Oh shit! Hold on a second. What are we doing next week?
Well, I can't. Well, how about this?
No, I'm gonna give the hint. What's the next movie?
You've already mentioned the actor in the movie, or you've given a quote from the actor already.
Have I? What'd I say?
Does your mother sew?
No way. Okay, yeah. Well, that's been enough.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
It's a movie starring the actor who
Yes.
said, "Does your mother sew?"
That's amazing.
Boom. Have a sew that.
That's amazing. I can't believe I've never seen this movie. I can't wait to watch it. But yeah, that's your only fucking hint.
It's really good, dude.
Good.
It's
Good.
really good.
No.
It's another one of those
He was
movies.
also in a movie where he played a sergeant, and he went back to young B. Willie, and he told him he brought this watch. His father shoved up his ass in the war, and he gave it to him. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's another hint. Figure it out, fucker.
Yep.
Okay, you guys should know it more than I do.
Stephen King.
Okay, well, there you go. There's another one. There's too much here, okay? It's too much to give away. We're ruining the suspense.
I feel pretty good about it, though, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the road to Halloween. These
Oh,
people
yeah.
are being informed. You guys help us out, promote the show, help Sloppy Horror. I'm not kidding. We are in pre-production for our short movie that we were going to get to you as quick as possible. But once we do, you're going to be able to find it on YouTube. But like I said, if you want to help support these ventures, make sure you check out the Patreon. Check out all the stuff. We need you so fucking much, week after week. And, yeah, we're some pretty humble guys, pretty thankful guys to be able to talk about scary shit week after week. We are down here in a basement studio, and then, I see people listening in Germany. I see people are listening in all over, man, in the fucking Central America.
The Germans?
Yeah, Japan, Germany, fucking England. We got listeners all over, man. Ireland.
We've hit every continent, baby.
We really have, dude, and it's kind of cool to be able to have that ability. So thank you guys so much for letting us be able to do that. So, Sloppy Horror Podcast on YouTube. Give it the follow. I'll say it one more time. Ozark Mark, you make sure you follow him on TikTok. It's almost at 1,000. We can make some really fun live activities.
Yeah, bitch, what the fuck?
Our Discord link is completely for free. We don't charge people to get on that, so that link is inside of our link tree. We're going to have some watch parties coming up, so make sure you guys help us out.
Yep.
So, until the next week, boom. Did your mother sew that? Sew your mouth with your mom and your...
All right, hit the music.